In there. Aren't we in there?
Yep, we in there, babe.
Alright, so welcome back to my channel. I am continuing my series called Gardening with Friends, and today I'm joined by this wonderful woman, Asheika, and y'all, her garden is about to make everybody garden be embarrassed, but it's okay.
No.
It is okay because I saw your garden. Maybe I saw videos with my friend Tiffany is here, who they're best friends, and Tiffany has been talking about your garden forever, and I kept saying, I want to see it, I want to see it, I want to see it. And man, like, I'm glad, number one, that I'm going to see it, but number two, I'm glad that I brought my camera because it's crazy. So how long have you been gardening?
This is my 3rd year gardening.
Shut up.
This is only my 3rd year. Yep. 3rd year.
I thought you were like a 10 to 15 year vet here.
Now I did get, I always called them my angels. I had 2 black angels that were standing at the nursery when I was there, and I was in a nursery about 3 years ago.
Okay.
And I'm going through the aisles and I'm picking all this stuff because in my mind I want to have this big garden. And they, I guess they were looking at me and they stood and they asked me, they said, "What you doing, girl?" Now these are 2 black older men, probably in their 70s and 80s. They said, "What you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm about to do a garden," and I'm all excited. And it's like, "You don't know what you're doing. Put all that stuff back in. You come back in 2 weeks and your seedlings are going to be bigger." When I went, the seedlings was so small. Starting out as a beginning gardener, anything could have happened. The weather could have been a problem. But from that day on, that entire growth season, they talked me through everything. They told me how to build my soil. They gave me little tips on the chickadee doo-doo, how that helps to amend the soil and enrich the soil. So they taught me a lot of different things that had I not had them in the beginning, I probably would have still been doing a lot of guesswork on my own. So I call them my black angels.
How did you decide what you were going to grow first, or you were just out there?
You know, I remember the first year that I tried this, I went to the dollar store and got seeds because they were, I think, 29 cents for a pack. And I didn't realize what I was doing. I really didn't, because I would get like 4 packs of corn. Now, you already know corn already has about 50 seeds in it, but I'm like, you know, I'm going to have a big garden. And I'm not knowing, first of all, how much work this big garden is about to be. And then, you know, not even understanding how to really do it all. I just was excited and I bought a lot of seeds. So,
yeah. I mean, I think every gardener, every beginning gardener starts out thinking they're going to grow all of the things. And then you're like, okay, wait, let me kind of scale it back. So you mentioned seeds. So do you start out with seeds and then you do seedlings, or do you do a combination of the two?
So it starts from seeds. But everything else, I started from seedlings.
Okay, yeah, I do a combination of the two. So what's like the big, not one, but maybe a couple like hard learned lessons that you've learned? I
mean, I can take that both ways. I can actually say like life lessons, and then I can say garden lessons, because when you are working in the soil, God is in communication with you just like constantly. The lessons that are unfolding, you couldn't get any better lesson than that. You couldn't get any better lesson than sometimes you got to go into the dark. Sometimes you got to be the seed. Sometimes you might not see your friends. Sometimes, you know, you might feel lonely. That's when that seed is getting planted. That seed is going to have a metamorphosis.
You better preach.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I said, which way you want me to go? Like, you want me to talk about having powdery mildew, or you want me to talk about, you know, or you want me to talk about life lessons? Because literally, this is my shirt. This is the name of my channel. Life is like a garden. And that name came because it really is. You know, when you are out here, and even when my husband comes out here, he starts to see stuff. Literally, God speaks through creation. That is a scripture. But because we're not in creation and our hands are not in the soil as often as they could be, we don't realize these lessons. You know, sometimes we hear the stories from other people, but, you know, to actually get out there and say, you know, if I don't tend my garden, if I don't water my garden, or if it don't rain, you know, it's going to dry up. And so that's the same thing with relationships. If we don't invest into our relationships, they're going to dry up, they're going to wither up. If we don't deposit into our kids, same thing. So I see it so many different. It's faceted, multifaceted.
Yeah. I mean, I've learned the same. One of the biggest lessons I learned this year for gardening and in life, and actually I got the tip for gardening listening to a sermon. So I had always been the type of gardener that didn't prune. I did not touch anything. I'm like, if it's growing, I'm not going to touch it. And I was listening to a sermon, and it was talking about how God literally prunes us to get us to where we can bear fruit. And so that was one of, and I said, man, I need to do that in my garden. I need to start pulling off some of this dead stuff or pulling off some of the things that are growing, but they're drawing attention from, they're taking the energy away from the thing that needs to really grow. So I need to prune that off. And this year I've had success because I pruned. And that was, like I said, that's definitely a gardening lesson, but I got that lesson in a sermon and I applied it the other way. So I really like your theme, like life is like a garden. So I'm getting that your garden just talks to you all.
It does, like literally. Like
mine does too.
Yeah, it does. I think when you get out there, I mean, from day one, you know, from the day I started, you know, it just speaks to you. It tells you what it is. I can walk past one of my trees and just be looking out the window. I walk past and I say, you need some water.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But it tells you what it needs.
Was it like that even in the beginning?
In the beginning, because you see if something is wilted, it needs some water. And so, yeah, my garden talks to me. I never thought of it like that, but yeah, it does.
I'll ask this question because this is something that I've struggled with. Because you're so connected to your garden, how do you deal with it outside of the gardening season? You know, because we only have such a short time period.
So. So that is what I'm planning on doing this year. I asked one of my friends, I went to high school with her, her name is Manira, and I asked her, how can I prepare? Because you know her, yes. Hey, if you watch it, she has Urban Gardener. That is her name.
Okay.
She has helped me. My first year, she also helped me. She also sent me some seeds. I wanted to prepare for the next cycle. So I said, okay, one thing I said from the beginning, I'm going to grow with what wants to grow with me.
I'm the same way.
I'm not going to try to fight with you. If you don't want to grow with me, you don't have to be over here with me. I'm going to grow what want to grow with me.
A question for you guys. Because both of y'all been gardening for
How long have you been?
About 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Not much longer than you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But with the pandemic, and I'll say, you know, with that 40 and over 40, now a lot of people have gotten into gardening. Why do you guys think people have caught on at a time like this?
I think there's more people at home. I think, because one of the things I struggled with when I first started gardening, I felt like I had an older person's hobby. You know, like all my gardening friends were like 60 and above. But I think our age group was just at a space where they were busy and they didn't feel like they had the time to garden. And so they feel like, you know, now they have the time to tend to it. You know, that's just my thoughts. What about you?
I think people start thinking about food.
Oh.
And I'm a gardener, and I started really thinking about food. I was like, yeah, if anything happens,
we good.
We gotta make sure, and I make sure that the kids, Chloe, they sometimes like to come out, but not all the time. But I try to make sure they know. I tell, especially Antoine, my oldest, I said, you have to know how to produce food for yourself. If anything happened, if the government shut down, you need to be able to know how to go take a seed, put it in the ground, and make sure you can watch it till it grow up, and then be able to reap the harvest of it instead of just be talking about, we hungry, ain't nothing.
Go to the grocery store,
What if the grocery store? The grocery store was not available for a while for some people. And so I say, and that was the other thing with fruit trees. I said, Gareth, we need fruit trees. Well, we need fruit trees. I said, because in the summertime, if ain't nothing open, at least you got an apple. At least you got a peach. At least you got some cherries or some blueberries that you can nibble on. At least you got something. And so I think just that mindset of, you know, one thing that the pandemic did for me is it showed me how comfortable I was with how everything was just normal food. We took for granted that we can go get food whenever we want to. We maybe didn't stock up like our grandparents did as far as, I remember my grandmother would have her pantry upstairs, a refrigerator upstairs, a stove upstairs, then a stove downstairs, a refrigerator downstairs, and a whole little grocery store halfway around the corner downstairs.
Food was never.
And so, but she grew up in the Depression, and so when she went shopping for the month, and that she would have stuff stocked up. She was always prepared, and so I told Garrett, we have to live that we're always prepared.
And you have some stuff. I've been sitting here, which I should have been sipping this wine. You got some. You made some things.
Now this is the tea.
Yes, this is tea.
This is chocolate mint and lemon balm,
which I grow chocolate mint and lemon balm.
And then I put in there some pretty flowers.
Show you guys.
I put some barrage. I put some chamomile, and I put a couple of slices of basil.
Oh my God.
This is my first time making it, and it's so good. And I just said, okay,
I'm gonna make it because I have
So
lemon
you
balm,
can, and it's very good.
And I have chocolate mint.
Ooh, that's good. You can shake it a little bit. Maybe they gonna keep floating. They gonna keep floating to the top.
Oh, the edible leaves.
This is good.
Girl, it tastes. I'm telling you, I was like,
this is delicious.
This is really good.
So this is the tea.
Oh my God.
This is made exclusively for this interview today. Exclusively for you guys. That zucchini bread, the first batch of zucchini bread I made, I used only half of that zucchini to make both of those, and then the other half I used to make. Now, if you want, this is some homemade blueberry preserves. Or peach preserves.
I just canned some peach preserves last.
And then it is some plates and some napkins right there. Y'all can start on that. And then I'm gonna go heat the oil up because I'm making them some zucchini fritters. Some zucchini. So we'll be right back. We're gonna dive in real quick.
It's a little commercial break.
A little commercial break. Let's see, where we gonna start? Let's
start this way?
Right here. Okay. Lemongrass.
Yeah. You seen that in my garden.
That.
Smells so good.
So what I do with the lemongrass is when it's time to cut it, I just cut it right down there at that root, and then I can have it and I can chop it up. Now this is a moon glow, I think. Oh, this is a
Did you treat it or just?
I get this every year. I
got powdery mildew for the first time this year. It's my first year, and I've been using sulfur cherry
tomato, and I got these because I said I wanted to try to just drop these. Here I go. Drop them in some batter and fry them. So
how'd you start them? Just from
so sweet potatoes, you fill it. This is my first year. You fill the soil all the way up to the top, and then you plant the seedlings. Potatoes, you start the potatoes at the bottom. So you put a little bit of soil at the bottom of the potato container, and then as the plant grows up, you keep adding more soil to it.
Okay.
Then this is a moon glow pear. This is another.
Okay. And I'm going. You know, you can eat those sweet potato leaves.
Oh, I've never ate them before.
They're edible. Yeah.
What do you do with them? Juice them or?
I think people just eat them like lettuce or salads and stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, they're edible. Yep.
And my cauliflower. So
I see got onion, little onion coming up.
I'm gonna amend this bed and start with some. This is my mint bed.
Girl.
This bed.
Now I know you start out with a little bit of mint. I know you did.
I did. This bed started with 3 plants of mint, 1 plant of spearmint, 1 apple mint, and 1 pineapple. Years ago, I had thyme.
Yeah, I see that thyme.
After time, this whole bed, it just took over. It kept growing and growing and growing. blueberries. That's blackberry, and then these 3 right here.
How many years have you been doing your blueberries now?
I just got these this
okay,
year. Because they should definitely they're gonna get bigger than this. But this is my first year that I had beetles.
Yeah.
These little silver shiny back beetles, and they've been eating all of my little leaves. They just been having them a good. But I have elderberries, and I didn't realize that I had natural elderberries on the land. Like, watch this little. These are watermelons. Some watermelon babies. I was just gonna see what happened. These came as sticks.
The elderberry did?
The elderberry came as this thick.
Okay, and then pushed
all
out.
of this grew.
Okay.
And so these are the berries. And what you'll start to see, and this is what people use as the medicinal property to make their syrups and their tinctures.
Stuff.
I don't know what, and it's pretty. You know, I'll be like, it's pretty, I'm gonna leave it. But all of these are onions in here. Down in here.
Yeah, them onions.
Those are onions. But I'm not understanding.
You thinking these are onions too?
I don't think
maybe.
these are,
Have you tried to pull them up?
We can pull it up now. I don't know what it is. Girl, maybe it is an onion.
That's an onion, girl.
Girl. Oh.
Oh my gosh. Live from the garden.
But see,
that's an onion.
I think
What are they?
I had to be mindful of these a little bit more, and I wasn't. You got to water these a little bit more.
Okay.
What are
I
they?
do have a.
What are they? Oh, they cucumbers.
Yeah. So I have
What
white
variety?
cucumbers. I have white cucumbers.
Okay, so we're back from our commercial break. We had some zucchini bread and zucchini fries, which were so good. And so you do a lot of stuff with your garden.
Yes.
So tell me what you got here. She has more. This is just
a little sample.
Yeah.
So for example, my onions that came out,
This is a green onion.
I dehydrate them, and then you can put the moisture absorbers in them, and that helps just to prevent it from
And how long will they keep?
so when you actually use the air suction, you can preserve foods for up to 5 to 10, some people 25 years.
Whoa! I did not think you were gonna say that.
I'm not at that point yet,
Oh,
so I
okay,
just
okay.
have the
I'm looking like
because I mean it's just I do need to get a device. The device is gonna help suction out stuff. So when I first started, this is how I started. I just put stuff in Ziploc bags. I'm like, okay, I'm dehydrating it. I'm putting it in a Ziploc bag. Bam.
And you just put it in the Ziploc bag.
I put it in a Ziploc bag. Then I said, okay, the next step, okay, I can do a food absorber. So I put the absorbers in. That just helps to keep it dry.
Right.
The second step would be put them into the jars and then put the suction on them and then allow it to suck the air out.
Oh, which that's a device thing.
Yeah, that's a device.
And you can't do that in the pressure cooker, right?
This is, so it's two different things. Canning, and then this is preserving food like the dry way.
Okay.
So those are two different methods.
Okay.
You wouldn't do that same method. I don't believe, nothing that I read said that you can do it like that.
Yeah, because I know canning, which I do.
Canning would be like the preserve.
Right, with the pressure cooker, that's They say a year to 18 months.
Yeah,
if you do
yeah.
it exactly correct. I did not realize that process lasts that long.
So they have people that are canning food, like when they're doing chicken and beans and rice and all of that stuff. They have food that can be kept for 10 to 25 years. Meats, cooked meats.
Wow.
What?
Yes. I'm telling you,
I'm like, whoosh.
it's people out there they got their pantry
hardcore.
stocked.
Yeah, they ready. They ready for the
Homesteaders,
revolution.
for the most part. People that are they know how to prep, they know how to make food stretch. They taking food out of their garden. When the food starts all coming in at one time, they need to be able to do something with it. You can't eat it all at the same time. Like you said, the succession garden earlier. With the succession garden, the good thing about that is that you don't have to worry about everything coming at once. You got this coming maybe this week. For 2 weeks, you can eat off of that.
Right.
The next 2 weeks, and you do it like that. But, you know, if you have other methods of preserving food, then you don't have to be so pressed to worry about it's going to go bad, it's going to spoil or anything. You can chop it up, put it in a dehydrator. You can chop it up, put it in a freezer, or you can can it. So you got multiple ways to preserve.
And this is amazing. I buy this.
Celery salt.
I buy it.
Celery salt.
Yeah. And I love growing celery in my garden because it just smells good. Like it just. And this is
cabbage.
Cabbage. Okay.
And I love carrots. I shred my carrots. And with carrots, you do not have, if you shred them, you do not have to rehydrate. So when I do my rice, or if I do cauliflower rice and it's heated, I just sprinkle some of that in there, and then it rehydrates with the moisture of the rice, and you just eat it like that. You can add this to soups or whatever. Right. Same with mushrooms. With my dehydrated mushrooms, I usually just saute them.
You can keep this as like a decorative
Ain't
thing.
it so cute?
It's so pretty. I want to make sure I show that in the camera. It's so pretty.
Yep, and so I just chop that up and put it on a dehydrator. And when I'm ready to cook it, to rehydrate it, some people like to put it back in the water to rehydrate. I just saute it in butter. Saute it in butter and season it up, and then add it to whatever, like if it's a pasta sauce or whatever.
Yeah. I think that's everything. Well, I had the preserves, peach preserves. These are blueberry preserves. And we got the tea, which I showed them earlier, which is so good.
Very good.
So what I'm gonna ask, I ask everybody that's on the interview, what would you say to someone who's thinking about starting their garden? What would you say? Like they want to do it, but they're like hesitating, whatever. What would you tell them?
I just say do it. It's only a seed and it's only soil. We make it so hard. It's soil and it's a seed, or it's soil and it's a seedling. And the thing is, you're not gonna know everything, so don't try to wait till you know everything. Just start.
Right.
And then as you start, then you'll begin to develop the ear to hear your garden talk to you, and then you'll begin to know what you need to do.
Oh man, but this has been so good. Thank you so much for welcoming me to your garden, for coming to my channel.
Thank you everybody for watching.
I mean, this was just amazing. Like, this is crazy. So much fun. I feel like, well, me and Tiffany are friends anyway, but I feel like I met another friend.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you so much. All right, guys, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and go down in the comments and tell me what did you learn from this interview. Okay? Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much again, Asheika, for welcoming me to your magnificent garden. And of course, to my friend Tiffany for making the introduction. You guys, this garden in person, I can't take it. It is a sight to see. Asheika, you were such a pleasure, a wonderful host. I felt like I was hanging out with my own friend, and it was great. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And make sure you comment down below and let me know what you learned. Of course, I have more recipes coming for you guys, and I want you to make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and you will definitely get videos as soon as they drop. Have a good one. Bye.